Little girl reveals her billionaire dad's incredible hidden look-alike. What he discovers will change everything. Mia stood at the edge of the basketball court, her heart pounding. The game was loud, filled with laughter and excitement. There was an energy in the air she couldn't help but feel drawn to. In that moment, amidst the thrumming beats and cheering crowds, she caught sight of a boy with bright eyes, dribbling the ball skillfully. She wondered what it felt like to be part of something so genuine, so real. As the cheers echoed, Mia wished for a friend who saw her, not her father's fortune. Mia was only 10, but it seemed the weight of her family's wealth hung heavy on her shoulders. Every day at her elite private school, she felt like she was wearing a mask, while her classmates flaunted their designer brands and jewel-encrusted gadgets like badges of honor. Their laughter felt distant, a world away from the loneliness that clung to her. With a sigh, Mia turned away from the glimmering facade of her suburb and decided to explore the hidden corners of her life, craving connection beyond the glossy surface. Then, one fateful afternoon, while wandering through her wealthy neighborhood, Mia stumbled upon a story unlike any other. A group of kids played basketball, their laughter ringing in the air. Among them stood Tony, a genuine spirit whose warmth was magnetic. He had 3 kids who radiated hope and laughter, filling the playground with joy. As they played, Mia noticed their carefree smiles, blissfully unaware of the challenges life threw their way. In that moment, surrounded by the noisy game, she felt a pang of longing, a desperate wish that these children could share in the richness of her world, just as she yearned to share in theirs. Each time Mia visited, the connection deepened. She learned about their dreams of school, of making it big, of simply having enough to eat. Each story tugged at her heartstrings, flooding her with a mix of compassion and sadness. The divide between their lives and hers seemed so vast, but their resilience shone like a beacon. She resolved to bridge that gap, her little heart swelling with hope. Perhaps, through genuine friendship, she could challenge their separate worlds. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. When Mia eagerly told her father about Tony and his kids, her heart raced with excitement. But the joy quickly turned to despair as anger washed over her father's face. Those people are just lazy, Mia. Money is earned, not given. He shouted. Suddenly, the warmth she cherished faded, replaced by a chilling silence. Mia's chest tightened, tears stinging her eyes. The confrontation revealed a truth she had never wanted to face. The values her father clung to were a prison, holding her back from the authenticity she craved. Just when hope seemed lost, a local crisis ignited the neighborhood. Mia's heart raced again, but this time with determination. She knew she had to reach out to Tony and offer help. Little did she know, this effort would rip open the walls built around their families, paving the way for revelations that shook everything they believed about themselves. Mia stood on the brink, caught between her father's expectations and her yearning for true connection. As the clock ticked down and the crisis deepened, she felt the spotlight on her. Would the love in her heart be enough to change their worlds forever? Mia took a deep breath as she stood outside Tony's house. The sounds of laughter and shouting drifted through the open door, promising a welcome she desperately needed. She knew she had to overcome her fear and step into a space that felt so wildly different from her own. With her heart pounding in her chest, she knocked. Tony answered, his eyes lighting up at the sight of her. "Mia. Come in," he exclaimed, waving her inside. The sight of his 3 kids playing video games and teasing each other filled her with warmth. It was chaotic, loud, and filled with a kind of love she hadn't seen in a while. She felt like she had stepped into a different world, and for the first time in too long, she felt at home. "Can we talk?" Mia asked, looking up at Tony earnestly. Sure, what's up? He replied, sensing the urgency in her voice. They moved to the side, where the noise was slightly muted. Mia glanced back at the kids, their laughter echoing in her ears. There is something going on, something important, she started, her voice shaking slightly. I heard that a storm might hit our neighborhood tonight. I wanted to help. I know it can be tough. Tony's expression shifted, concern etched across his face. Oh, I didn't hear about that. We might need some supplies then. Mia nodded, determination rushing through her. Maybe we can gather food, water, blankets. Anything we have at home, we can share. We can make sure everyone is safe. Her voice rose with excitement. Yeah. That's a great idea. Let's grab my younger kids and head over to your place. We can figure this out together. He was eager, and that made Mia more confident. As they organized their plan, Mia's heart lightened. She could feel a change, like a softening in the walls that her father's world had built around her. Together, they rushed to gather supplies, collecting what they could find from their homes. Each item they packed felt like a small victory, icing over the cracks that had formed in Mia's sense of belonging. But her excitement was tinged with a shadow of doubt, a fear of what her father would say if he discovered she was helping his lazy neighbors. With every bag they stuffed, Mia felt the weight of her father's beliefs crashing down on her, a silent battle raging inside her. She wanted to show him that love could be richer than gold, that kindness could break down the barriers of class and wealth. By the time they had loaded the car, darkness began to blanket the sky. As they set off, Mia sat next to Tony, his kids brimming with energy. Her hands trembled slightly, but her spirit soared. Each mile brought with it the promise of hope. Suddenly, a storm cloud rolled in, raindrops tapping against the windshield. Tony turned to Mia, his eyes alight with determination. We're in this together, okay? She smiled, even as anticipation and fear mixed within her. Together, she echoed, her heart swelling. She knew this challenge would change everything. They pulled up to her gated community. The looming shadows of her father's mansion stood in stark contrast to the warmth of the life she was experiencing now. Would he understand? Would he accept her desire to help? Just as Tony parked the car, a flicker of light caught Mia's eye. A figure emerged from the darkness, the unmistakable outline of her father, waiting by the front door. The moment of confrontation loomed large. Mia felt the rush of everything she'd held back, everything she wanted to express. As her heart raced, she took a deep breath before stepping into a confrontation that might redefine everything. Would her father accept her new friends? Would she stand up for what felt right? The moment felt electric, charged with the possibility of change. Mia stepped out of the car, her heart pounding in her chest. The rain was coming down harder now, cascading in heavy sheets and soaking her quickly. But it wasn't the weather that made her shiver, it was the sight of her father standing there. Dad, she said, her voice barely audible over the storm. It felt like the sky echoed her uncertainty. His eyes narrowed as he took in the scene. Tony's kids were still buzzing with excitement, their voices a sharp contrast to her father's stoic demeanor. Mia felt a pang of anxiety slicing through her. Would he see them as she did? Or would he cast judgment, the way he always did? Mia, what are you doing here? Her father asked, his voice cool and questioning. She could feel the authority radiating from him like an intense heat. I wanted to check on everyone. There's a storm coming. We brought supplies, Mia explained, trying to keep her voice steady. Tony stood beside her with his kids, an anchor in the brewing storm. She could almost hear the silent encouragement. Her father glanced at the car, taking in the bags filled with food and blankets, then back at her. You really think they need your help? Is this your idea of becoming a community hero? It's not about being a hero, Dad. It's about doing what's right. She replied, her frustration bubbling over. You've always told me to help others, to be a good person. This is me trying. I thought you would support me. Mia's father paused, and for a moment, she saw something flicker in his eyes, a hint of disbelief, maybe even confusion. She pressed on, emboldened by her heart's truth. Just because they don't live like us doesn't mean they don't deserve help. They're people, just like us. Pushing boundaries, Mia. Helping those who don't contribute to society. His words were layered with tension. Remember who you are and what this family stands for. The storm swirled around them, but nothing felt heavier than the silence between father and daughter. Mia felt the weight of his world pressing down on her, but she refused to back down. Maybe I don't want to stand for what you want, Dad. She exclaimed, the words practically bursting from her. I want to show that kindness is more important than wealth, that love matters more than status. She saw the kids glance at each other, their expressions a mix of shock and hope. Somewhere inside herself, Mia felt the belief that had long remained buried begin to rise again. Maybe, just maybe, this could be a moment of reckoning. Her father's expression hardened, yet Mia could see a flicker of something, maybe uncertainty or annoyance flickering just below the surface. Enough. He commanded, taking a step closer, rain pooling around his shoes. You're making a mistake associating with them. You don't understand their lives. Mia took a deep breath, feeling the reality shift around her. She had to stand firm. But I do understand. I'm tired of living a life that's wrapped in privilege and ignorance. At that moment, the wind howled, and thunder rumbled overhead, similar to the storm brewing within her father. It was as if nature itself was joining their heated exchange. As she looked into her father's eyes, she knew this was the moment. A turning point. Would he really see her? Would he accept the person she was becoming? Just then, the tension was interrupted by a loud crash of thunder, louder than before, shaking the very foundation of their familial structure. I'm not afraid of them, Dad. And I'm not afraid of you anymore. Mia's voice quivered, but it had a clarity she'd never felt before. Now it was her father who remained silent, confusion clouding his features. A shiver of doubt crept into his gaze, and Mia wondered if she had finally broken through. What would he say next? And would it lead her further into the storm or towards a new horizon of understanding? The rain continued to fall, drenching everything in a curtain of gray. Mia stood there, heart racing, her father's silence thick in the air between them. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were both standing on a precipice, one misstep away from falling. Just leave with me, Mia, her father finally said, his voice dropping to a low growl. You don't get it. This isn't the place for you. Why not? She shot back, her voice sharper than she intended. Is it because they don't live in your world? It's still a world. It's still life. His gaze flickered towards the kids laughing under the nearby awning, the joyful sounds piercing through the weight of their confrontation. Mia felt a rush of anger at his indifference. They weren't just kids, they were families trying to survive, just like anyone else. Mia, I've worked hard to ensure our family stays above all this chaos. There was that coldness again, that refusal to see her. You need to understand what's at stake. I get what's at stake, Dad, she said, her voice rising. You're afraid of losing control. But maybe it's time to let go. Maybe it's time to see what's really important. He took a step back, disbelief painting his features. For a second, the storm felt like it could swallow them whole, leaving history and judgment behind. Enough of this. His eyes hardened again, though Mia thought she caught a flicker of vulnerability as he took a deep breath, steadied himself. A tall wind gust pushed against them, and for once, it wasn't a barrier, it felt like a challenge. Do you really believe your little outreach is making a difference? He pressed, though his tone was less hostile. You think these people appreciate your pity? It's not pity. Mia's words spilled out like the rain falling around them, fierce and unyielding. I can't stand by and watch innocent people be ignored. You talk about legacy and family values, is this really what you want to leave behind? His brow furrowed as thunder rumbled, echoing the storm in his eyes. This wasn't just a clash of ideals, it was a clash of identity. All those years of molding who he wanted her to be weighed heavily on their exchange. What if I really want to change things? She continued, her voice softer now, yet filled with determination. What if I'm tired of fearing what you have to say? I'm learning to be myself, Dad, with or without your approval. Their eyes locked, each challenge laced with raw emotion. At that moment, the realization swept over them both, they were even more alike than they thought. I'm still your father, he finally said, the stormy expression faltering, exposing something softer beneath. You can't just throw away everything I've built. Maybe some things need to be thrown away. Mia's heart raced with hope. I want to build something better. She took a step closer, hopeful he would take another step back, breaking the distance between what they had and what they could become. The rain fell heavier, surrounding them like a protective cocoon as she continued. Don't you want to be proud of me? For who I am, not just what I can inherit. Mia could see him wavering, the tension starting to crack. For the first time, she sensed he was torn between his world and the messiness of life outside his carefully constructed walls. The children nearby exchanged glances, sensing the change in the air, hope rising like steam as Mia held her breath. Would he bridge this gap between them? Just then, the wind shifted, and a figure emerged from the shadows, drenched and gasping. Familiar features came into view, and Mia's eyes widened. Wait, is that her heart skipped a beat as reality blurred? The last thing she expected was for this moment to take yet another turn, a twist that might unravel everything she thought she knew about her father's world. What secrets lay behind the storm, and how would they reshape the lives around her, including her own? Mia barely had time to process the sight before her. It felt as if the world around them dimmed, the laughter of the children muffled by an impending realization. The figure stepping into the light wasn't just any stranger, it was her older brother, Nathan, someone she hadn't seen in years. Nathan? She whispered, half in disbelief. His hair was a mess, dampened by the relentless rain, but the familiar crinkles at the corners of his eyes reminded her that he was still the same person she grew up with. The heartache of their past separated them, decisions made by her father, paths divergent rushed back. Hey, Mia. Nathan's voice was raspy, but it pulsed with an energy that seemed to cut through the tension. He looked between her and their father, uncertainty flickering in his gaze. Dad, what is going on? Mia glanced at her father, whose expression had shifted again, this time a mix of shock and guarded annoyance. His carefully crafted veneer seemed to crack, revealing a vulnerability long buried. The storm raged on above, but down everything felt frozen, held in place by the weight of unspoken words. Why are you here? Their father demanded, his authoritative tone returning. You should have stayed out of this. Mia felt herself swelling with anger again. This was her chance. He deserves to be here. We all do. You can't just ignore the family that needs you. But Nathan took a step forward, shaking his head. I'm not here for a fight. I just need to understand. Why can't we all talk? The sight of Nathan standing firm ignited something fierce in Mia. He had always been the glue between her and her father. For years, he acted as the mediator, trying to reconcile the discord in their family even while remaining distant. I tried to reach you. Mia blurted, her frustrations bubbling over. I thought you'd cut ties with him, too. But you're here, right in the middle of all this mess. We both ran away, didn't we? Different ways, but we did, Nathan replied softly, running a hand through his wet hair. Maybe it's time we didn't run anymore. Her father's stiff posture seemed to ease, for the first time, there was a glimmer of something like regret in his eyes. This is not the way things are supposed to be, he murmured, almost to himself as if wrestling with the deeply ingrained narratives he crafted for years. Mia stepped closer, her heart pounding, desperate for him to feel the truth. Things can be different. We can heal if we stop pretending everything's fine. Thunder cracked overhead, mirroring the chaotic atmosphere. His gaze shifted from Mia to Nathan, and then back again. It was an emotional showdown, the crossroads of forgiveness standing before them. Mia, you need to go back home, he finally managed, his walls reassembling. You don't belong here. But Nathan interjected, his voice steely. Maybe it's time to decide where home really is. You need to understand, Dad, that we're both choosing our paths now. You can't keep us from this fight. Mia felt a surge of hope, but it quickly dimmed as she caught sight of her father, caught in his own turmoil. You can't lose us again, she said softly, desperately reaching beyond the shattered pieces of their family. As silence enveloped them, Mia sensed the ground shifting beneath her, an awakening of something long dormant. She could almost taste the change coming, it was bitter yet laced with sweetness. Caught in that fragile moment, she grasped her brother's hand, her pulse racing, fearing what came next. Would their father finally break through, or would he push them away once more? And as they all stood there, suspended between past and future, the wind howled, carrying a promise of change. But what would that change bring, and who would they become if their hearts finally opened? The air hung thick with uncertainty as Mia squeezed Nathan's hand tighter. Each heartbeat felt magnified, mixing hope and fear like a storm brewing inside her chest. Would he understand? Could he truly see their pain? Their father's gaze seemed to flicker between the two siblings, confusion mixing with the anger that had been his armor for so long. Mia felt exposed, as if the rain and wind were stripping away the layers of her father's defenses. You don't know what you're asking for, he said, his voice a strained whisper. Nathan stepped closer, a slight tremor in his hand. No, Dad. You don't know what you're holding on to. We're not children anymore, and we can't pretend this isn't tearing us apart. Mia watched her father's expression change. It was like watching a movie unravel, frame by frame. The denial that had kept him strong for years began to dissolve. I did what I had to do, he began, but even he sounded unsure. Did you? Mia couldn't hold back. Or did you do what was easiest for you? The tension in the air electrified, every word a jolt, every breath an unleashing of memories. She remembered the nights spent waiting for promises of change that never came, the birthdays celebrated with an empty seat. All of it crashed over her, raw and painful. I was trying to protect my family, he uttered finally, but even he seemed unconvinced by his own defense. Mia's voice softened, fighting against the bitterness threatening to seep through. Protect us from what? Love? Togetherness? Nathan's eyes called her to stand strong. We're stronger than this, Dad. We're stronger when we're together. We can face anything, but we can't do that with walls between us. It was as if the storm erupted with that last statement, rain spilling down in earnest. Mia felt the droplets on her skin, a cleansing, a baptism of sorts. She caught sight of a small girl nearby, her face pressed against the window of a cafe, observing the intensity of the three adults before her. In that moment, Mia understood the eyes of innocence held a truth her father had long forgotten. Do you want to keep doing this? She asked, her voice trembling. Living in the past. Or can we break this cycle? For us, for that little girl. Their father hesitated, his breath catching as he glanced toward the cafe window. Time stopped. It was as if everything hinged on that simple movement of his eyes. I just wanted to keep you safe, he murmured, his defenses crumbling. By pushing us away. Nathan shot back, anger crawling back into his tone but wrapped with pity. Dad, we're already hurt. But we can heal. Together. It's what we want. Mia yearned to see remorse blossom on his face, to dismantle the years of hurt with just a breath of understanding. But as she searched for that flicker of recognition, doubt wove its way through her resolve. Would he ever really comprehend? The rain fell harder, washing away the remnants of silence. Would today mark the turning point in their story, or would they slip back into the shadows, locked away behind old wounds? As her heart raced, a glance exchanged between the siblings reignited their hope, a bond stronger than any tempest. Let us choose to be a family, Mia urged, desperately wanting to chase away the darkness surrounding them. Even if it's hard. In that electric moment, Mia and Nathan held their breath, waiting for their father's reply. The storm around them felt almost like a whisper, promising that change was possible, steeped in love and courage. Would he believe it? Or would he let the opportunity slip away again? And as the sky rumbled overhead, one more question loomed: could the walls finally come tumbling down, or would fear keep them prisoner? Mia's heart pounded as the seconds stretched into what felt like an eternity. She watched her father's face, searching for anything that would signal a shift. For a moment, the rain seemed to pause, waiting for the same answer that hung in the air, heavy with expectation. Finally, her father spoke again, and his voice shook. I just don't know where to start. It was a crack in his tough exterior, a crevice in the armor of anger that he had worn like a shield for so long. A flicker of hope ignited in Mia's chest. Start with us, Nathan said softly. Just talk. If we can't face the truth together, then we'll never move forward. The initial anger melted from their father's eyes, replaced by vulnerability. Mia took a deep breath, feeling the weight of years of silence begin to lift. Do you remember when we went to the lake that summer? Just the three of us. Her father nodded slowly, a hint of nostalgia creeping into his features. I do. It was the happiest I've ever seen us, she continued, urgency sparking in her words. You laughed, Dad. We all laughed. It was like we were free. He frowned, the memory tugging at him like a child's hand. But the world outside was complicated. I thought keeping you safe meant keeping you away from the pain. Dad, we're all hurting, Nathan interjected. You can't protect us from grief by building walls around us. You can't hold back a storm. It'll only break eventually. In that moment, something shifted in their father. The fierce anger that had long fueled their family dynamic began to falter, slowly replaced by something deeper: remorse, perhaps, or longing. He ran a hand through his hair, the weight of his decisions pressing visibly on his shoulders. Mia took a small step forward, emboldened by her brother's conviction. This is our chance to heal, Dad. We can't go back to ignoring each other. We need to talk about Mom, about everything. The mention of their mother hung in the air, heavy and palpable. Mia waited, trembling slightly as her father closed his eyes briefly. She could almost hear the internal battle raging within him. I didn't want to burden you with my pain, he finally admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. I thought that if I kept it all inside, I was protecting you. But you didn't protect us. You isolated us, Nathan said earnestly. Our family's love should be the shield. Let us in, Dad. Let us help you like you helped us when we were lost. Tears pooled in their father's eyes, the storm of emotions threatening to break through. Mia watched, her heart swelling with a mixture of fear and encouragement. Could they really be on the brink of something beautiful? As thunder rumbled in the distance, the onslaught of rain seemed to cascade harder, yet it felt different now. It was cleansing. It was liberating. Mia dared to reach out, taking a step closer. It starts with you. Let us see your pain, she urged. And maybe, just maybe, we can share the burden together. Their father looked at Mia, and in that moment, something shifted. The wall that had kept them apart began to crack. But would he let it? Just then, the little girl from the cafe reappeared outside, her tiny face lit with curiosity. She peered through the rain-streaked glass, suspicion in her wide eyes, as if sensing the gravity of their moment. The sight anchored Mia's resolve. Look, Dad, she pointed toward the child, a symbol of hope and innocence. If we don't break this cycle now, what message are we sending? That fear and sorrow dictate our lives? Let us teach her what it means to love without fear. Silence fell again as her father considered her words. But this time, it was different. They held their breath, waiting for him to take the step that could change everything. Would he finally allow the layers of hurt to peel away, revealing the love that had been buried beneath? Mia could feel the excitement thrumming in her veins. The chance hung like a fragile thread, ready to snap or soar. In that charged moment, as the storm raged around them, a question lingered in the air: was this the moment when everything would change, or would they yet again step back into silence and shadows? Mia held her breath, her heart pounding hard against her ribcage. The rain poured steadily outside, a rhythmic backdrop to the tension that electrified the air inside the cafe. She could see her father's expression shifting, the storm inside him so close to breaking. She leaned in, willing him to open up. "Dad," she urged again, softening her voice. "You don't have to bear it all alone. We're here. We're ready to listen." He blinked, struggling to hold back tears that threatened to spill like the rain tracing the windowpanes. For a moment, it seemed like he might unleash everything he had kept bottled up over the years. "I thought I was doing what was best," he said, his voice cracking. "But I see now, it just made it worse." "Let us start there," Nathan encouraged. He shifted closer to Mia, sharing the unspoken understanding of their family's reality. "Talk about Mom. It's okay." With a heavy sigh, their father looked down, his hands trembling slightly. "After her passing, I didn't know how to navigate the world without her. I thought if I locked my heart away, I could spare you both from the sorrow I felt." There was a profound silence, the rain drumming heavily against the roof like the nudging pulse of their memories. Memories that stitched them together, and those that threatened to tear them apart. "You thought you could shield us," Mia replied gently. "But we wanted to grieve with you. We wanted to share that sorrow." He nodded, fresh tears spilling down his cheeks. "I was so lost. I didn't know how to reach out. So, I pushed you away. I thought you'd be better off. Better off without you." Nathan's voice was laced with incredulity. "We're not better off missing you. You're our dad." That simple phrase echoed in the air, a lifeline tossed out to a drowning man, and for a moment, their father looked up, vulnerability shining in his eyes. It was a small flicker, but it was there. Hope began to swell within Mia. She reached out tentatively, her hand resting on his. "We're a family. We need each other. Let us face this together." He hesitated, raw emotions twisting his features. But something deep within him began to shift even more. The door opened, allowing a rush of cold air to sneak inside. The little girl from the cafe strolled in, her eyes bright and full of wonder. She glanced around at the three of them, her innocent curiosity a stark contrast to the weight that hung over the adults. "Do you guys need help?" she piped up, unfazed by the tear-stained faces surrounding her. The sunlight broke for just a moment, illuminating her unjaded spirit. Mia felt a warmth spread through her chest. This child, so full of life, reminded her of the innocence they had lost. Perhaps this was the very kind of love she wanted her father to realize. Her father chuckled softly, as if the laughter was a secret that finally found its voice. "No, kiddo, we're just working things out." "Working how?" she persisted, tilting her head. "Can I help?" In that moment it was as if the question resonated through each of them. It wasn't about fixing everything at once. It was about taking those small, uncertain steps forward together. Nodding slowly, Mia glanced at her brother, their eyes meeting in silent agreement. "What if we all worked together, even a little? Sharing our stories, our laughter, and our memories of Mom. That's how we start to heal." The little girl beamed, her enthusiasm brightening the space. "I like stories. Tell me everything." Mia watched as her father smiled softly, a spark of recognition in his gaze. Maybe, just maybe, they were standing at the cusp of understanding. She sensed the heavy clouds of miscommunication beginning to break, revealing the possibility of clarity and connection. And then, Just then, a loud crack of thunder boomed outside, shaking the very foundations of the cafe. The little girl jumped, her wide eyes darting to her father as if seeking reassurance. "See? Even storms can pass," Nathan said, breaking the tension. "Storms come and go, but we get to rebuild and grow." "Together," Mia added, squeezing her father's hand a little tighter. Looking around, Mia realized they were on the verge of something monumental. But the question loomed in her mind, could they truly open up their hearts to each other, not just now, but for good? As they huddled together, with the little girl looking up expectantly, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that the hardest battles were still ahead of them. Would they be ready for what lay beneath the surface, the secrets and sorrows that even the rain couldn't wash away? Mia's heart fluttered as she glanced around the cafe. The sunlight continued to peek through the stormy clouds, illuminating their small circle. She felt rooted to the moment, the inevitable conversation teetering on the edge of their awareness. The little girl, still brimming with curiosity, bounced slightly on her feet. "So, what's the best story? Is it about your mom?" It was a question that caught their father off guard. His expression shifted, from a comforting smile to something heavier, as memories flashed across his face. "There are many stories, sweet pea," he finally said, wiping his eyes. "Some are happier than others. Tell me the happiest one." She insisted, her voice a bright bell amidst the heaviness hanging in the cafe. "Okay," he said slowly, rubbing his temples as if willing the memories to surface. "Your grandmother, Mia and Nathan's mom, loved flowers. She planted a garden full of them every spring. She could tell you about every blossom as if each had a unique story." "Like what?" The girl pressed, fascinated. "She had a favorite lilies," he began. "One year she planted dozens, and when they bloomed, the house was filled with the sweetest fragrance. I'd find her out there, talking to the plants as if they could understand her." A shared chuckle radiated among them, lightening the mood just enough. Mia could see her father relaxing into the irony, his own way of recalling a love that was so profound, it lingered even in this safe environment. "Oh! I love flowers!" the little girl exclaimed. "Can we plant some?" "Maybe we can," Mia replied, igniting a sense of hope within her. "Together." "It sounds easy, planting flowers," Nathan chimed in. "But it takes a lot of hard work to make something grow, just like it takes work to grow love." Mia felt a warmth spreading through her body. It was true. This needed nurturing, just like those blossoms. The tension was still thick, but perhaps they could tend to the roots of their family, step by step. "What else did Grandma love?" The girl pressed on, beaming with encouragement. As her father's lips trembled with the effort to remember, Mia seized the moment. "Dad, remember that summer when we made the backyard into a paint station?" His eyes sparkled at the memory. "You two were so messy. I still have stains on my shirt from that day." Nathan laughed, springing forth with an affectionate tease, "More like stains on your face, old man." "I'll admit it," their father chuckled, shaking his head. "You were the artists, and I was the happy little canvas." Mia felt herself leaning closer, her father feeling more like a warm presence rather than a distant figure. "Those were good times," she reflected softly. "We can have more memories like that. But right now, we have to talk about the hard things too." For a brief moment, silence fell. The little girl tugged at her father's sleeve, her innocence breaking the tension again. "Can we talk about hard things and make them good too?" With a heavy sigh, their father nodded. "You're right. Let's grow through the hard stuff. Tell me, what do you remember most about your mom, Mia?" Mia's breath hitched. Memories flooded back, some beautiful, others painful. "She loved to dance," Mia exclaimed, her smile wavering as she recalled her mother's graceful movements in the kitchen. "She danced like no one was watching, even when we all were." The little girl gasped, her eyes widening. "Did you dance too?" Mia chuckled lightly, then looked at her father. "We did. Together. And it felt like joy could burst right through the walls. "I want to dance with you then," the little girl declared excitedly. I think it's about time," their father agreed, his voice softening. "Let us dance as a family. To remember your mom. To celebrate her life and bring us closer." Mia's heart swelled. This was the breakthrough they needed, a beautiful way to bridge the gap of loss while nurturing the bond that had grown fragile. As they positioned themselves in a small circle, laughing and reminiscing, another crack of thunder echoed outside. But this time, it felt different, almost empowering. Mia couldn't help but wonder if facing the storm together would bring them peace. What other stories lay buried beneath the weight of their grief? And just then, in a moment of clarity, Mia realized something was still unspoken, the secret about their father's past. Would they uncover that together too? Mia's heart raced as the final words trembled in the air. As they stood in a small circle, preparing to dance, she suddenly felt a weight almost lifted from her shoulders. Perhaps this would be the moment that changed everything, the moment where the storm within them could finally begin to calm. "Can we close our eyes?" the little girl suggested, her voice bubbling with innocence. "And picture all the flowers we want planted?" Mia beamed down at her, and the sight seemed to pull her father closer to the edges of his barriers. "That sounds perfect," she replied, feeling hope surge through her veins. They all closed their eyes, and Mia imagined her mother, spinning in their backyard, surrounded by fabric decorations swaying in a gentle summer breeze. She could almost hear her mother's laughter, feel her warmth like a huge embrace. Mia's father joined the vision, imagining her twirling, laughing, the very embodiment of joy. Just like those lilacs from all those summers before, vibrant and unforgettably beautiful. "Mia," her father murmured, his voice softening into the rhythm of their surroundings, "I realize I've been lost in grief, in fear. I forgot how to embrace life." As her father hesitated, Mia felt comforted knowing they were in the same emotional space. "But we've been trying to tell you, Dad. Life is messy, but it's also beautiful, and sometimes, we need help to see the beauty." "I know that now," he confessed, tears spilling as he voiced the vulnerability he had kept sealed for so long. "I pushed you both away because I was afraid. I thought, if I kept distance, I wouldn't lose you too. But," he paused, the words feeling monumental. "But love can't flourish in fear." With those words, something shifted. Just as petals flourish in the spring, Mia felt the wind of change rustling through their family. "Then let us fix it together," Nathan encouraged, voice steady, echoed with ardor. "Let us plant a garden of who we are and who we can become." In that moment of profound understanding, everyone opened their eyes. The lingering storm outside began to settle as they exchanged glances of shared resolution. Their hearts beat of one rhythm, forging a path forward that felt both new and ancient, all at once. Just then, Mia noticed the little girl watching them, wide eyes filled with enthusiasm, ready to take part in this unfolding story. "You promise we can plant flowers?" she asked, bouncing with anticipation. "Absolutely," Mia replied, her smile radiant. "We're all planting flowers together, our stories, our love, our memories. A garden that means something to us." Her father smiled through his lingering tears, finally finding his voice. "Yes. Let us create something beautiful to remember your mom, and remind us that we are a family who stands together." And as the rain softened to a gentle trickle, Mia felt an overwhelming warmth envelop them, a sense of renewal blooming in their hearts, much like the lilacs that expected their place in the sun. "Before we begin," Mia said, gathering her courage one last time, "Dad, there is something else I need to tell you. Something that really matters." Her father looked at her, his eyes filled with love, still apprehensive but ready to listen. "I found something out while I was out wandering," she began, feeling the energy in the room shift. "You have a look-alike, someone who embodies everything about caring and community, someone who shows that being wealthy doesn't determine a person's heart." "What?" he interrupted, curiosity piqued. "There's someone out there just like you, only not encapsulated by walls," she explained. "Almost a mirror showing how your heart can embrace different lives, forge deeper connections. I thought maybe, if you could meet him, you'd see the beautiful side of life that I've found." His brow furrowed, but curiosity replaced his earlier wariness. "You really believe that?" "More than anything," Mia repeated firmly. "Just like we have to nourish our garden, we can help each other grow." A soft smile crept across his lips, one Mia no longer feared to be false. "Okay," he reassured, taking a deep breath. "Let us find a way to meet him." The bond fortified with each shared word breathed life into a shared dream, a vision where they all could heal, plant their flowers, and bask in the radiance of love that had lingered just beyond the storm. As laughter filled the cafe once more, the rain became a distant memory. It was a conclusion to a chapter, but only the beginning of a beautiful story, a story of family, connection, and love. Mia held her father's hand tightly, the promise of a brighter future pulsing like the heartbeat of life itself. And as the sun finally emerged from behind the clouds, casting light upon their faces, they felt hope unfurling like the most delicate blossom, ready to grow. This was just the start of something incredible. And in that moment, the world around them transformed not into one of fear and judgment, but one of endless possibility, a home of love they forged together. Feel inspired? This is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that warm the heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep beautiful tales like this alive. Comment below and let us know your reactions and feelings about this heartfelt ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation, because the power of love and family deserves to be shared far and wide. Don't wait not even one more second. Your engagement matters to us, and only true fans understand the importance of standing together in this journey.